Welcome to episode 15 of The Whole Story. I'm Ben Garwood from the Business Change team, and I'm here with PO Paul Chandler. Welcome, Paul.
Hey Ben, what's the news from Street Manager Towers?
We have been carrying out webinars this past week on topics around API, scope and navigation, change and contractors. They're going well, and we've also got another week left to carry them out.
Awesome, yeah, I really enjoyed the couple that I was involved with. So without any further ado, let's have a look at PMR, which is quite exciting for us, and also hot off the press is the ability in Street Manager to edit a permit before it's been granted. So Ben, if you go into applications and works, and if you show those filter options and just filter on awaiting assessment, apply filters, that's lovely. Pick either of those, that's fine. And you see now we've got this option that we didn't have before when a permit was awaiting assessment to change permit. So click on that. Essentially before, the permit was locked down until the other party had done something, whether it was awaiting assessment or whether it had been granted, etc. So now we can scroll down and we can change a number of things. So I tell you what, let's change the type of traffic management. Okay, and you can see at the moment we've said it's stop go boards, but our supervisor's been in touch and it's actually going to be done under two-way signals. Everything else stays the same, so we can continue. And you see we're going back through the journey now from the point that we came in. Perhaps one day we could edit Street Manager so that you only changed the page that you landed on. And you can continue there, Ben. You see you're being asked why you need to change. That's important, you know, so whatever you want to put there, Ben, that doesn't matter in this demo environment. But, you know, we need to tell the Highway Authority why we made this change. And review changes, as always, and scroll down. And you see here we've got this... we're reusing the change request functionality that we've already got in Street Manager, essentially. So if you flick between these two options, Ben, I think this is a really nice, clear way. You know, it's in this nice blue box. You're seeing highlighted in that blue the line that's actually changed. And I think that we went through quite a few different designs before we got to that one, and I think it's really nice and clear and effective for people.
Wow, it's really that easy. A question that I've got here is there anything that you can't change?
Yeah, sure. Just while you're signing back in as the Highway Authority, Ben, we set it up so that you can't change from planned works to immediate. That was quite an important one. That would obviously kind of break certain things with the logic. So I think that's the main thing to flag to people's attention that you can't change. Okay, so now what we're going to do is assess a permit, maybe the one that we just reviewed, but it doesn't have to be. So let's go into applications and works. And just the same, we're going to switch our filter options on and awaiting assessment, apply filters. And yeah, we can do that one, that's fine, Ben. If you scroll down to the bottom, you've seen us assess a permit in another episode of The Whole Story. Of course, there's no need to do that here and show you the map and stuff. What I wanted to show you guys today was we've got here permit changes. We can see those that happened. And if we go into modification requests now, Ben, and just say, please add NCT 04A, that will do me. And submit that decision. Lovely stuff. So now we need to log out and go back in as the promoter again. And here we are back in as the promoter. And if you go into applications and works, Ben, and switch on your filter options, you'll find Dun, 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 a new one, modification requested. Let's see what that does when we apply it, Ben. Here we are, we've got a couple, but the one we want is the one that we just did the assessment on. And we'll go into that job. And if you scroll down for me, Ben, to assessment decision, that's what we just wrote, of course. Please add NCT04A. So if you go up to the top, please, request a change. And if you go down to the conditions and choose change, you can go into NCT04A. And I don't believe, Ben, you write whatever you want here, sir. I don't believe, Ben, we've done a whole story episode since we added the mandatory conditions. So if you just scroll down to, you can see we've got NCT11 applied there, and you might have seen 1A and 1B at the top. So that actually happened whilst we were doing the road shows. Halfway through, people were asking us questions saying, are you going to make those conditions mandatory? And I think that's really useful for people because it saves any arguments I know we've had across the industry around you do need to add these, you don't need to add these. We've taken that ambiguity away in Street Manager. Oh, Ben, you're showing some validation there, which I always love. You've fallen into the trap of not saying what change you've made. So, added the condition you asked for or whatever it might be. And that's kind of it, guys. There's no need to see us go back into the system and now... no, I'll tell you what, let's do that because I think that's useful. If you sign out and go back in, Ben. Okay, so we're back in as the Highway Authority. We'll go into our Applications and Works. We'll go into our Change Request tab. So here we are back into the works that we've been following through. And if you scroll down, Ben, you can now see that we've got the options to grant or refuse. There's no PMR now. We were debating in the office this week if you should be able to do a further modification request. And I think we've decided against that for the time being. Once you've done that single modification request, you're into grant or refuse. So if you try granting that for me, Ben, let's see what happens. Lovely stuff, there you go. And we move on to the next job. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've seen a permit be edited before it's been granted, which was something people were really keen to get into Street Manager. That's in now. And we've seen that permit modifications process this side of Christmas, which is great.
So, Paul, what's new for PMRs?
There's still some really important stuff to be done with PMR, Ben. At the moment, you can end up in a situation where you've granted the PMR and you still need to grant the permit request. So there's a very important thing that we need to do in Street Manager to auto grant the permit or the PMR, whatever's the relevant one, because obviously you can't be in that situation where you need to grant both because people might forget and then you've got inconsistencies in the system. So
of course,
that needs to happen over the next few weeks in Street Manager. So until next time, guys, thank you very much, Ben. This has been The Whole Story.